Portugal, cork, and stamps. What do they have in common? Well, cork has been used for over 5,000 years, and there are records of its use in ancient Greece, Rome, Egypt, China, Babylonia, so it was widely used. It's flexible and breathable, it's buoyant, a natural fire retardant, plus it's recyclable and renewable. It's very lightweight, so it's kind of handy for all sorts of items. It's used to make everything from clothing and shoes to building material like flooring, cores to cricket bats, and of course, this should be familiar, wine stoppers, or as most people simply call them, corks. That's where the word comes from the tree. That's just a few things. We all seem to have these kicking around in the drawer somewhere, and we're never quite sure what to do with them. One day we'll find a use. So 34% of the world's cork is actually grown in Portugal, and it is grown primarily in the Mediterranean from North Africa all the way up and around. But Portugal supplies 50% of the material used in for production. And it's a cool tree, and yes, it is a tree. This is the cork, the bark from the cork oak tree. And that is an evergreen oak, in case you're wondering. And I won't try to pronounce the Latin name. I don't think I can handle that much humiliation because I'm saving that special treat for later on in this video. The bark can only be harvested from early May to about late August. Any other time the tree may be damaged or the cork simply won't be good enough to use. Harvesting doesn't start until the tree is about 25 to 30 years old, so it's a slow growing tree. And if you've decided you want to pack in your life and become a cork grower, you better learn patience because you can't rush it. The removal of the bark from the tree is done by extractors. These are workers who specialize in peeling layers off the tree. That's exactly what they do. They have these axes that they cut it down and they literally peel the bark off like that. It's kind of fun to watch. I'll include a link down below of some Portuguese cork extractors at work. It's heavy, hard work, and it takes a lot of skill. The first modern usage of cork as a wine stopper comes courtesy of the Dom Perignon monks. They were actually, the cellar master was looking for a better product to protect their precious wine. So he experimented and came up and used cork tied down with oil-soaked hemp, and they've been using it ever since. An earlier version of a wine stopper, cork wine stopper, was found in a 1st century amphora, and when it was uncovered, they found the original cork stopper in it. So everything that's old is new again. You can find references to the use of cork in ancient Egypt and Persia and China, where it was used for fishing equipment and the soles of shoes. So we're just rediscovering the wonders of this nice little piece of wood. Now, so it's an amazing green product, and you're likely sitting there wondering, okay, the link between cork and Portugal is very clear. And you're likely on that side of the monitor wondering, what's that all got to have to do with philately? That's the reason we're here, right? Well, in 2007, the Portuguese post office issued what I consider a wonderful stamp. I really, really like this stamp, and I would love to get my hands on it, and I've never been able to. And here it is. It was a stamp printed on cork. That's right. This, only a lot thinner. They issued this unique stamp, and I'm using the word unique for a couple of reasons that'll be clear soon. In November 28th, 2007, 230,000 were issued, and when I was doing some research, it looked like it sold very, very rapidly. You always need caffeine when you talk about stamps. Okay, they issued this stunning, absolutely, to my mind, this stunning stamp to promote cork, the use of cork, and it was done in conjunction with another organization. If you go to my website, I have a whole article on it, and you can learn a little more, a few more interesting details. Now, this stamp was designed by and this is where I'm going to humiliate myself, and I do apologize. Getting people's names correct is important, but my North American tongue has a very hard time with some of these accents. Shuwal Mushadu. This is his actual name up on the screen now. I apologize if I've pronounced it incorrectly. I practiced all day yesterday and I know I got it wrong. He's one of those graphic artists that make my heart go whomp, and when I look at his work, I think, this is it. This is a designer I can appreciate. He's designed about 60 stamps for the Portuguese post office. So if you collect Portuguese stamps, his designs may be familiar to you. They tend to be very crisp and very spare. They're uncluttered, and it takes a lot of skill to create a visually stunning and uncluttered stamp. It's easy to fill a stamp up with all sorts of things. It's harder to create something that works on a small space with very little on it, with a minimalist approach. And this was the first, to my knowledge, and the only one officially issued on cork. The design considerations must have been pretty impressive to overcome. I mean, how do you take a piece of bark and turn it into a usable stamp? And by usable, I mean it has to go through the postal system like a regular stamp. So it needs to be able to hold the color in the artwork. It needs to stick to the envelope without falling off. If it's too heavy, it'll just naturally start to peel off. It also can't be so heavy or thick that it will get stuck in the machinery, the automated machinery that goes through. There's not a whole lot of room for error there, but the other part of it is it had to be thin enough, or rather it had to be thick enough that it would hold the artwork together. It wouldn't kind of crumble apart, because this is actually, although it's very durable and sturdy, if you get it too small and too thin, it starts to literally peel apart. So it had to be robust enough to stand up to going through the mail system. That's what it was designed for. I mean, to be used. And I've seen a couple covers where people use them, and they are outstanding covers. So if you'd like to see a link to artwork, I've put one down in the link below, and you can go and take a look at it. His artwork is wonderful. I love going to his website to see what he has. Now, the image, the one stamp was issued, along with the souvenir sheet and a block. And the image on it is a simple cork tree on a hill. That's it. That's all it says. And it says everything you need to know about the product. Nothing more was needed to be said. And this makes good design. Knowing how to convey to your audience everything you need to know about a product in one image. And that's it. It's a beautifully understated design, which complements the much understated cork oak. We don't appreciate things enough. So why did I make a fuss over the word unique? Each stamp is unique because it's made on cork, but it's unique not solely because of the materials used, but because of the materials used. That was confusing. Bear with me for a moment. This was, as I said, the first stamp printed on cork. But consider this. It's a wood product. And what does wood have? It has a grain. And as you cut layers off, each layer is slightly different because the grain is a little different. There are no two slices that are completely identical. And that's one of the wonderful things about wood. When you talk to people that work with wood, and they can wax philosophically about how the grain makes the design. That was the last consideration. How are you going to incorporate the grain into your design? Well, if you look at this picture, you will see the grain becomes the sky. It's amazing when you think about it. So no two stamps will be identical. Each one has something slightly different in it. And you could spend a lifetime examining and collecting variations on just the grain alone. So it is truly unique. So there you go. Portugal, cork, and stamps. It all makes sense now. Hit the subscribe button so you can get notifications on new videos. I am working on 2 new videos right now. One will cover the new insulin stamp coming out this spring by Canada Post with a nod to the Swiss Post's issue as well. And the other one, it's a secret. I don't want to spoil the intro. Hopefully Mother Nature will cooperate with me. And you can also nip over to my website, bittergrounds.com. It's all the links that I've mentioned are in the description below, and you can read the article I wrote on the cork stamps a couple years back. It has a lot of really good information. I just checked all the links, and they are all working, so you can learn a lot about the history of cork and the cork stamp. And while you're there, sign up for my newsletter. New content comes out every week, and you will get notifications direct to your mailbox, so you won't miss any of the fun. You can also support this project, The Stories Stamps Tell, and Bitter Grounds Magazine via Patreon or Buy Me a Coffee. Once again, links are down below. So cheers for now.